Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Yeah, the seat to my right. Why does it matter? Wait, that's strange. Why do the... That's enough. Try not to think. You'll just get a headache. What's up, Jessica? Why the confused look? Well, right, left... Haha, you are so weird. How's it going, Will? Have George, Nissan, and Jessica told you anything useful? A bit. That ghost story about Beatrice was pretty fun. A ghost story? What kind of story? The one about Beatrice's ghost appearing in the VIP room at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty creepy. I've never heard of that. I don't know who put that out there, but that'd be really rude, making up ghost stories about the woman our head is indebted to. A model answer. What? Do you know about the epitaph, Leon? Epitaph? What epitaph? The epitaph by Beatrice's portrait. My apologies, but I have no idea what you mean. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. What on earth are you talking about? So in your world, no, in this world, the portrait exists, but not the epitaph. Of course, I know about the large portrait of Beatrice hanging in the entrance hall. But I haven't heard of this epitaph. What is it? That's a very interesting difference. You've lived on Rokkenjima all your life, right? Of course. What's your point? When you were a little kid, you were told not to go near the woods. Threatened about it? Yes. They always said to stay inside since it would be dangerous if we got lost. Because a witch lives in the forest? A witch? What witch? The Golden Witch, ruler of Rokkenjima's night. Beatrice. Beatrice is a woman to whom grandfather owes a great debt. Don't you think it's a bit rude to treat her like a witch or a ghost? You don't know about the witch Beatrice? I know about the Beatrice who came here in a submarine along with the gold, and about her daughter who was raised in the hidden mansion. We just learned about those two together a short while ago, right? Where does the witch come in? I see. So that's it. Then how did they scare you to keep you from going into the woods? They said the wolves lived in that forest. Wolves, but not a witch. Who else was scared of wolves? I see. That's interesting. Not to me. What are you talking about? What is this witch? I'm just talking to myself. I have one more question. Please, go ahead. During the family conference, who sits to your right at the dining table? My little sister Jessica sits across from me. The next in rank is Aunt Ava's son. So George Nissan is the one on my right. What's your point? I get it. It's all mashed together in a confusing mess. But it is interesting. Well, I'm still in the dark here. So, did you figure out who killed Beatrice? Yeah, more or less. You don't mean the head, do you? Berncastel isn't asking about the two Beatrices involved with Kinzo. She's talking about who killed the Beatrice of 1986. I'm not really sure what you mean by the Beatrice of this year. What's all this about a witch called Beatrice? And then there's what we were just talking about, and that epitaph too. Isn't it about time you explained all this to me? Alright, no point stringing you along. Let's start from the beginning. Who is this witch, Beatrice? Strictly speaking, it isn't a person. It's the concept known as Beatrice the Golden Witch. You mean the ghost stories themselves. To be more specific, even the ghost stories are only one of the elements that create the concept. You've lost me. Ghost stories are normally told in the second person or third person. However, someone started telling those in the first person. You mean someone started claiming that they were Beatrice. The legend of Rakonjima's evil spirits and the made-up story for keeping kids out of the forest. These were combined with Kinzo's constant cries of Beatrice, Beatrice, and gradually became the legend of the witch. Ushiromiya Maria became entranced by that fictional witch and begged for a chance to meet her. And then someone answered her call. I'm still not following, but I'll just nod and tell you to keep going. What do you mean by answered her call? Because of Ushiromiya Maria's unfortunate childhood history, she became obsessed with the occult. Someone felt sympathy for her, acted the part of Beatrice, and played with her. Maria tends to recognize people by their behavior rather than their physical appearance. Though Rosa is only one person, Maria calls her her mother, the Black Witch, when she gets violent. And at these times, Maria views Rosa as a different person, separate from her mother. In other words, even when a person visually looks the same, she tends to view them as multiple different people depending on their attitude. This fact puts the scene where Maria first met Beatrice in a new light. After being chased out of the mansion by the adults, Maria decided to have some tea in the rose garden. At that time, someone probably started talking to Maria. Then, when they heard this occult-loving girl talking happily about how she wanted to meet the witch Beatrice, this person acted as though Beatrice was possessing them. On the outside, they didn't look like Beatrice. However, when their manner of speech and behavior changed abruptly, Maria would recognize them as a different person. That's why her appearance was so sudden. We can probably view Maria's love of witches and the occult as a form of escapism. She believed the power of witches could bring about the change in her unfulfilling and incomplete life. That's why she wanted to believe that witches exist. She thought that believing could make her happy. It's true that Aunt Rosa brought up Maria by herself and that she was always busy with work. I do feel sorry for Maria, but still. Don't neglect the heart. Maria believed for the sake of believing. She believed in Beatrice's conjuring trick from the bottom of her heart that probably comforted her a lot, and at that moment, the witch Beatrice was born. Someone saw that Maria-chan wanted to meet a witch, so they decided to play witches with her. That's right. This marks the birth of Beato the Elder. All of that about living 1,000 years and being bound to Rokkenjima, that was mixed into the story of ghosts wandering the mansion at night, which was part of the legend at Rokkenjima's evil spirits. As Furuto Erica guessed, the two ghost stories had fused. Someone fused the two stories together and acted the part. So Beatrice held traits from both ghost stories. She was the master of the mansion's night while also fearing spiderwebs. So when Bern Castell asks us who killed Beatrice, she means who killed the kind person who acted the part of Beatrice. That's close, but not quite. She doesn't mean someone acting a part. We're talking about two different people. Just like how in Maria's eyes, her mother and the Black Witch are different, separate people. Beatrice and the person who played that part are also different people. It was just like marriage sorcery. One person would be the creator, and the other would acknowledge those creations, thereby nurturing the illusion. The Golden Witch Beatrice was also created by one person and then nurtured when Maria acknowledged her. So killing the role that was being acted out wouldn't mean the same thing as killing the kind of person who was playing the part. Even if Beatrice's vessel is lost, that isn't the same as Beatrice being killed. It's easier to understand if we use a telephone as an example. Let's say I call you on the phone. From my perspective during the call, the phone is you, in the sense that it's what I talk to. But what if I break the phone? I see. If you kill the phone, you won't be able to talk to me, but that doesn't mean you've killed me. We know Maria once offered to let Beatrice possess her early on in their relationship. That clearly shows that Beatrice didn't look like that portrait at that time. So if the person acting the part of the witch character they play are different people, we're talking about killing just the witch character herself. Is that even possible? Only the actor can kill the character. In other words, the person who killed Beatrice is the person who played the part of Beatrice. You mean that the person who played witches with Maria-chan is the culprit Bern Castell is talking about? That's it. But, as if that wasn't confusing enough, this chapel is now a world inside a cat box. The culprit is the cat. There are now two cats existing at the same time, one alive and one dead. Confusing is right. I'm still lost, but keep going. You're saying that there are two culprits. Right. The human who can create and kill Beatrice, and the human who never gave birth to Beatrice in the first place, who can kill the entire concept of Beatrice. Both of those humans are here. Then let me ask, in this Beatrice murder case, who are the two culprits? Let's start with the dead cat. Who is it? You. What? It's painfully easy to guess. Your world is the only one where this witch Beatrice doesn't exist. I don't understand. Both Maria and Jessica told me stories about the witch Beatrice. However, when they talked about the ranking system at the dining table, you weren't there. I wasn't there. Maria came to visit Rokkenjima with Rosa, and Rosa was sitting next to her. That's impossible. If you exist, then Leon comes after Rosa, then Jessica, then Maria. There should be 2 people between Rosa and Maria in rank. In that case, they should be sitting on opposite sides of the table and separated by 1 seat. In other words, in the world where Leon exists, it's impossible for Maria to be sitting next to Rosa. It was the same in Jessica's story. If you were added to the ranking system, then when looking down the table towards Kinzo's seat, you should be on the left side and Jessica should be on the right. After that comes George on the left side and Angie on the right. Jessica and Angie will be sitting next to each other whether you're there or not. However, which side of the table they're sitting on changes. In the world where Leon exists, Angie's seat is on Jessica's left. However, if Leon doesn't exist, then Angie's seat is on Jessica's right. Every time someone talked about the witch Beatrice of 1986, they were all talking about a world where you don't exist. And in your world, there are no ghost stories about a witch. To you, Beatrice is either Kinzo's mistress or his benefactor, not a wandering ghost. The head loved Beatrice deeply, did he not? I can't imagine why she would be made into a ghost story. Exactly. If you exist, the witch Beatrice doesn't. Your existence kills Beatrice. Are you saying I'm the culprit who killed Beatrice? That's just crazy. How can I be the culprit if I don't even understand her and have never met her? Flip it around. If you don't exist, Beatrice will be born. Flip it? Are you trying to say Beatrice and I are 2 sides of a coin? That's a good way to put it. That's it exactly. You're a coin and Beatrice is on the other side. I don't get it at all. At first, I didn't get your existence either, but I've formed a theory about you after hearing all of this. The key is that you're 19 years old. I don't remember telling you my age, but you got it right. How? Jessica said you were already the student council vice president when she joined your school, and that you became the president the next year. That means you're 1 year older than Jessica. Jessica is 18 years old, so Leon must be 19. I see. And what sort of theory can you make now that you know I'm 19? The theory I can make is that you aren't Ushiromiya Natsui's child. How rude. I don't know what game you're playing, but I won't allow you to insult both me and my mother like that. Why are you the successor instead of Kraus? I will succeed the headship when I come of age. When I have a kid, I'll probably pass the title down to them when they come of age. Then why didn't Kinzo give the headship to Kraus when he came of age? You heard what our head said. He was used by the cunning elders of the Ushiromi family and suffered much. That's why he decided that only young people should inherit the headship from now on. In the world without you in it, there is no silver ring for the successor. That silver ring proves that Kinzo had a strong desire, which he didn't show in any other world, to see that you became the next head. I can't deny that you may have a point there. The head always seemed to adore me particularly, and I was very young when he first promised to make me the head when I came of age. He was very strict when he told me to keep up in my studies in preparation for that day, but I don't think my father was any less talented. About that. Why did grandfather skip over him and make me the successor? I've thought it strange from time to time, but since it's always been that way, I never said so aloud. Do you know why Kinzo wanted you and not Kraus to become the next head? How could I know? Because you're Kinzo and the Italian Beatrice's son, or you're the son conceived with the Ecuadorian Beatrice, which means the Beatrice of Italy submarine is your grandma, and Kenzo is both your grandfather and your father. Because he fucked his daughter who looked like his You guys get the point. Are you trying to tell me to stop neglecting the heart again? Do you think you understand how the head's heart works? It's because you're the child of Kenzo and Beatrice. Well done. Giggle. There was a crisp applause and a mocking laugh. Burn Castell. That was faster than I expected. I thought you'd let me play a bit longer. Burn Castell appeared sitting on the altar, almost as though it had become her own personal chair. When did you realize that Leon shared Beatrice's blood? As soon as I realized that Leon was 19, it was the same number as the baby born from 19 years ago, the hint that appeared in the 5th game. Didn't that baby fall off a cliff? Leon is the baby who was accepted by Natsui and didn't fall off the cliff. In other words, if Natsui rejects the baby, Leon doesn't exist. You're saying I'm not Mom's child? That's insane. You say that, but you don't look too sure. That's right. Ushiromio Leon is not Natsui's child. This is the grown-up version of the baby Kenzo got from somewhere 19 years ago. Not somewhere. Leon clearly shares Beatrice's blood. The proof is the silver ring, which is only ever given to Leon across all of the many worlds. Why does the ring prove that I share Beatrice's blood? In all of the many worlds, you are the only one who receives it. That means that in all the worlds, you are the most important person to Kenzo, second only to Beatrice, and his love for you is clearly greater than it is for his own son Kraus or his granddaughter Jessica, and you are 19 years old. In other words, when we look back to see what happened 19 years ago, it can lead to a certain theory. 19 years ago, what's supposed to have happened at the time I was born? You're supposed to die. You're supposed to fall off a cliff and die. You heard it too, didn't you? You even heard it today, and Will was with you, right? Shocked Pikachu face. You don't mean Aunt Rosa's story? That's right. Rosa's story came out in the 3rd game, and when the age of the baby in the 5th game matched that date, a certain theory became possible. The fact that Kenzo brought a baby from somewhere and tried to add it to his family proves that the baby was somehow important to him. And I'm the child of the Ecuadorian Beatrice? The Ecuadorian Beatrice was the daughter of the Beatrice who arrived in that submarine, but Kenzo didn't think of her as a daughter. He believed she was the same person, Beatrice reborn. When that reborn Beatrice reached the same age as the first Beatrice and truly looked like Beatrice's double, Kenzo made a terrible mistake. I don't want to hear it. That's how it is. Kenzo got Beatrice pregnant with Beatrice. And then he got that Beatrice pregnant with you. So you're both Kenzo's child and Beatrice's grandchild. If we consider Kenzo's heart, this is the inevitable theory we reach for explaining why he treated you so specially. He regretted his mistake so much that he tried to make you his proper grandchild. In almost all cases, Natsui's pride is brutally hurt and she refuses to raise Leon. Because of that, you almost always fall from the cliff and disappear. I heard that I was the child they were finally blessed with after so long. And that Jessica was born the next year. If you really never suspected that Natsui wasn't your mother, then you should thank her in this world. The reason you never realized the truth is because she's shown as much affection to you as she did to Jessica. There's no need to thank her. After all, it took a dizzying span of time just to find a fragment with you in it. She kills you and all the others. Mathematically speaking, there's actually You're kidding. There's a 2,578,916 out of that same number with a 7 at the end chance of her refusing to raise you, which means you had to look through 2,578,917 different parallel universes, like you're fucking Doctor Strange, just to find a single one where Natsui doesn't murder Leon as a baby. I can't imagine Leon will feel the best about this. You should probably be thanking me for creating this miracle, not Natsui. Enough with your stupid probability games. Oh, I'm sorry. Depressed Pikachu face. No matter whose blood you bear, that doesn't change the debt you owe to the family that raised you. I realize that. Still, I would like some time to calm down and think things through. That is, if you'll refrain from ignoring my heart. Sure. Leon took a deep breath and looked upwards. Anyone would be shocked to find that their parents weren't who they believed them to be. Still, Leon should be grateful towards the family that raised a child who wanted for nothing. It is pretty interesting. Hard to believe that the Golden Witch Beatrice might have lived such an ordinary life, even at such absurdly low probabilities. Isn't it? I think moments like this are hilarious. Will had said it plainly. Ushiromiya Leon is how the Golden Witch Beatrice appears in a different world. The baby Natsui rejected 19 years previous. If she'd accepted that child, this is the future that would have occurred. However, if she doesn't accept that child, the witch will be born. The baby whose birth was not celebrated becomes a witch. Leon is the dead cat. However, Leon's existence has nothing to do with what you're interested in, the Rakanjima serial murders. In other words, Leon is the cat that disappears when you open the cat box. Exactly. Leon is just a disappearing cat. But this was a pretty fun for a side trip, don't you think? You're the only one having fun. If I wasn't trapped here, I wouldn't even worry about reasoning this out.